In this small segment, I would like to review how the vertical lookup function works. It is one of the most common and most useful functions in Excel. If you work with data, you have to use it and you have to know how to use it, and you need to be comfortable with it. It's one of those functions that takes a couple of takes before you really understand how it works. But it is actually really easy. So let me explain how to use it. I have a file open here called list of sales reps. And in the list of sales reps, we have a list of sales reps with a unique rep ID. So we have a list of people here, and each one of them has a unique ID in the first column. We also have the second column, and we have the third column. And I typed a little bit of something here. I typed rep ID, and I typed 1, and also I have a blank cell in cell B15. I'm going to use Vlookup function in order to look up the value from cell A15 and to show the name of the person in cell B15. So I need to make B15 my active cell here. And I'm going to insert function. And I'm looking for vertical lookup. It's already available among the recently used functions, but I can type Vlookup. And once it's found, I simply click on it. Remember that you can read about the function you're trying to use here. Also remember about the help. Both are really useful. Help is actually really useful in Excel, at least help on functions. I'm going to click OK now, and now I'm on to my function arguments dialog box. There are 3 mandatory arguments: lookup value, table array, column index number, and range lookup right here. Range lookup is not mandatory though. The reason I know that they're mandatory or not mandatory, the mandatory arguments in Excel are specified by boldface. Okay, so what we are doing with vertical lookup, we are looking up a value. So the first argument is lookup value. The lookup value is sitting in cell A15 in my case. So I want to look up whatever I have typed in cell A15. That's my first argument. The second argument is the table array, that is the data set in which I would like to look that value up. And the table array is simply this range here, A4 through, would do C10. So my table array, or the data range in which I am looking up that value that is sitting in cell A15, and right now it's 2010 to 2010. Inside table array, Vlookup will always look at the first column of the table array. So we will be looking it up in the column that is right now column A, but it is the first column of the selection. The column index number argument is the column from which I would like to extract value once I found the lookup value. So let's say I find my lookup value in column A, which is index 1 in this case, and I would like to return the name, and the name is column index 2. It's the second column in my selection. So I'm simply going to type 2 as my column index. Now, the range lookup is not bolded. That means it's a optional argument. I don't really need to type anything in there. However, in this case, I would like to type something. And if you click on the function argument in this dialog box, you will get a description of what the argument is supposed to do, what it's supposed to give you. And it's a little cryptic description, but what it means, if I don't type anything, or if I type the word true, or if I type 1, that will all be the same thing, and it's called approximate match. That means when the function is looking for a match and it doesn't find exact match, it might still return a result. It will give you an approximate match. In this case, I don't need approximate match. I really need exact rep ID. That's why I'm going to type false, like this, and it will make sure that it finds the exact match, and if it does not find the exact match, it will never ever give me an approximate match. It will give me an error message, and that's what I want in this case. I'm going to click OK now, and sure enough, we looked up J.B. McCoy here. So let's see how it works. Vlookup function, that is right now sitting in my cell right here, B15, it is looking up this value, the value that I have in A15, 2010, and it is looking it up inside this data range, which is my table array right here. And it is looking it up in the leftmost column of this data range. So it actually starts from the beginning, from the top, and it look, 210. Oops, found 210. And returns a value from the second column, from right here, because I specified the column index 2. And here we have J.B. McCoy right there. Let me type somebody else. Let's say I type a different value here, 1020. Sure enough, I got Mary Briggs. We found 1020 in the first column, column index 1, and then we display what's in the second column, but in the same row of the data array, my lookup table. Let me quickly do phone number. So let's say I want to also display phone number. I'm going to do Vlookup again. Click on Vlookup. Vlookup is a recently used function, so I can simply select and click OK. And again, lookup value comes from A15, table array. I'm going to select the same range. Column index in this column 3, because the phone number is sitting in the third column of my selected table array. And instead of typing false, I'm going to type 0. 0 will be actually the same thing. It will be just like typing false. So we have rep ID 1020, whose name is Mary Briggs, comes from the second column, and whose phone number is 650-333-0000. And that's how it works. And we're going to use Vlookup in the next segment in order to fill all the names into our transactions list.